Now, when you're talking about a great governor, for me, one name comes to mind. I've always liked the guy. He does common sense things. For the last few years, the man's been sticking to his guns, not giving a you-know-what about what anybody has to say about it. I absolutely like that. If I had to move anywhere right now, I mean, I like where I live. West Virginia is awesome, but it ain't got no beach. I want to move to Florida, but it's not just the weather. I love Florida. I don't care how hot it is, but I do care about the crime rate. I love law enforcement. I want to live in a safe community. Ron DeSantis is going to sign a couple of bills to protect police officers when they make traffic stops, when they have to encounter violent criminals, so that it makes their job easier to do and they can do it with confidence. Criminals don't care about police officers, okay? They don't care about them. Recently, right there in Chicago, Dexter Reed. I mean, he opened fire on police officers, shot at them, and his mom gets on TV crying, saying they shot him down like an animal.
They shot him down like an animal. Why did they shoot him them many times? He's already dead. Why you study shooting him like that? They killed my son and they killed me too.
The mainstream media, are sure to make this look favorable to Dexter's mom. Now, I am not saying that Dexter's mom is not hurt for losing her son. Of course she is hurt for losing her son. What I am saying is that Dexter would still be here if he hadn't opened fire on the officer. I mean, as simple as that. But who knows? We're talking about Chicago. All right, so I just want to talk about this for just a minute, because Chicago is a place that is different from what most of us can probably understand or comprehend. Okay, like, let me just say that, because I think a lot of people making comments, they think that they could kind of understand, how this kind of stuff could happen. Officers are just going around, shooting black guys, pulling them over for no reason. These are some of the things that I think that, based on the comments, based on, just listening to people talk and comment on this over the internet, seems that they just think that, literally, they think that the police officers are out here looking for black men to target and looking to shoot them and hunt them down. Like, this is the way that the mainstream media is spinning this. This is the way they're going to continue to spin it. It's just very sad, and it's very, very dishonest journalism. It's very dishonest journalism. They actually have to say in the video, and I didn't want to play it because of the shooting, but they had to say in the video that Dexter actually shot at a police officer and shot one police officer, all right, in the forearm. So officers pull the guy over. Who knows what else was going on? I guess we'll find out a little bit later when we hear the whole entire story about why the officers actually pulled him over, what was going on. This is Chicago, guys. This is not your hometown, okay? It's not like where you live, okay? Chicago is a very dangerous place, very dangerous place. I believe that just recently, like probably like a day ago, a little kid was killed. Like 11 other people, like including children, were shot in Chicago. Children, okay, guys. That's what we're talking about here. This is not, I don't think you can really fathom that. All right, can you imagine like a little child being shot in your neighborhood? Can you actually imagine that? So before you make your comments, before you say how bad the police officers are, and before you criticize the cops, please look at the entire situation, because the mainstream media they are really, really good at twisting stories and, manipulating the masses just to get us to hate each other. The police officers that go into these inner cities, I commend them. I actually look at them like heroes. Who on earth would want to go into one of these liberal cities? Almost every guy has a gun. There's a documentary, if you look online, and I watched these gang members talk about their life in Chicago. All right, anybody can find this documentary. I can't think of the name of it, but the documentary just walked around in the streets with some of the gangs, and they covered their faces, and they just said what they would normally say to the camera, just like the camera wasn't there because they had their faces covered. Well, the guys actually feel like they have to carry a gun. A lot of them said, and I kind of believe that a lot of them said, hey, look, I'm not really a killer. I'm not really like that, but I feel like I got to protect myself because anything can happen. I can relate to that, but there's a legal way to do that. Okay, there's a legal way to do that. All right, if you're not out on the streets selling drugs, if you're not out there drinking and getting high and stealing cars, you can open a business. This is the way to go because you can get a legal firearm. Okay, but I digress from that. So we're talking about Chicago here. It's not like your average city. But listen, I want to get into a clip here because Ron DeSantis is doing something pretty amazing, I believe, and passing a couple of bills to help police officers do their job confidently on the streets of Florida, which I think is an amazing idea. I want to move to Florida. I'm moving. Okay. I get my YouTube channel to take off, man. I'm getting out of here. All right. It's just something that I really want to do. I just like Florida, man. I like the way that they are firm on criminals. They're tough on crime. That's me. I'm tough on crime, man. If you're a good dad, you got to be tough with your kids sometimes. You don't have to beat them up or slap them, but you got to be tough on your kids so they don't grow up to be criminals. Somebody else has got to be tough on the criminal, So that's the kind of way I look at it from a father's perspective. And I see these young guys out here getting shot down. It's crazy that the police officers feel like they can't do their job. So listen, I want to go ahead and jump into this clip, and I want you guys to take a look at what I got here because I think it's pretty awesome.
Me to today's legislative action. I'm signing a couple pieces of legislation, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. And why are these bills necessary? Well, one of the reasons I think they're necessary is this issue that just happened with. The media is running that there were 96 shots fired, and they're trying to put the police officers under the gun. So you see these headlines, and they're trying to cause division in society. They're trying to create a narrative. They know what they're doing. And sometimes you got to read like 8 paragraphs down, and then when you do that, they have to admit that this guy was shooting at the police officers first. So how are you in a situation where it's at all controversial to have a criminal suspect shooting at and hitting one of the police officers, firing shots, and they're not supposed to be able to respond in kind? They not only have a right to respond in kind, they have a duty to respond in kind when somebody is using lethal force against them. So how this is trying to be packaged into some narrative against the police officers, and they're trying to de-emphasize the fact that this guy shot, I think he shot his entire magazine because he shot at least 10 shots, so it was 10 to 12 shots he was shooting. So then, of course, these other officers are going to respond in kind. That just shows you, though, what I think people in uniform can be up against. Because whether you did the right thing is not what some of these folks in the media care about. The media cares about is can they contort that in a way that is going to cause titillation, that's going to get more clicks, that's going to drive more viewership, that's going to cause more controversy. And they're perfectly willing to use a faithful law enforcement officer who's done it by the book. They're totally willing to throw that person under the bus if they think it can further the narrative. And the facts don't matter to these folks. And we've seen it time and time again in some of these situations. So this is the context that I think that we're dealing with here, when we're talking about that. And the fact that that was portrayed the way it has been in some of these media outlets has been really, really disturbing to try to de-emphasize the fact that this guy fired on the police first. So we're going to do a couple bills that I think provides support for people who are wearing the uniform and recognizes that, we've got some strange currents going on in our society right now that really seek to delegitimize law enforcement and what they're doing. So the first bill, SB 184, is going to prohibit the harassment of a police officer or first responder when they're actively doing their job. You shouldn't be in a situation where you're at a traffic stop, you're responding to a call of someone in distress, and then you have people come trying to interdict or trying to harass you from performing your duty. So if you do that, we view that as a problem, and now you're going to be held accountable. The other bill is HB 601, and what it's going to do is it really puts the kibosh on these extrajudicial investigations against law enforcement. They'll set up these things called citizen review boards, usually in these very tilted politically jurisdictions. They'll stack it with activists, and they'll just start reviewing things and trying to put people under the gun, even if there's no basis to do that. So we view that as very much a political weapon. We don't think that that will contribute to public safety at all. In fact, we think that that would hurt public safety. And so this bill really stops that from happening. If you have review boards, that's fine, but it's got to be done in ways where you have the sheriff or chief of police appointing people, because the sheriffs and the chief of police, they have an interest in ensuring that their personnel are conducting themselves appropriately as well. I mean, good order and discipline is very important, but it can't be people that have an agenda. So this bill is going to do that. I think it's going to be something that is going to give more peace of mind to people who are wearing the uniform. And that was the one thing that I hear when people come from some of these jurisdictions and move to Florida, get the bonus, and then they start serving, is they just have the radical difference. Yes, we have lower taxes, the weather, all that stuff, but they felt that the deck was stacked against them, that people wanted them to fail in their former jurisdictions, and they feel that they have a lot of support from the state, from the local government, and from the community here in the state of Florida, and that makes a huge difference. That's my morale is higher in Florida than it is in a lot of these jurisdictions. So
I think that's really awesome. I really do. That's what I would expect from my governor. That seeing these things, keep an eye out on these liberal cities, man, because the liberal cities have got it backwards, man. They're doing things totally backwards. You can't praise the criminal, okay, and demonize the ones trying to uphold the law. Any smart man, any smart city or smart state, smart governor, mayor, or government official would be for law enforcement, not ever against them. If your mayor's against the law enforcement, you might want to get out of there. All right, it's not going. You're going to need the law. You're going to need the police officers at some point. You'll need firefighters at some point. You'll need these guys, man. They put their lives on the line. I don't know why in the world people don't get this in the liberal cities. It blows my mind, man. I just don't understand it. They're doing things totally backwards. I mean, they wonder why they don't have law and order. They're crying about police officers shooting people down. But look, your son's carrying a gun in the car. First of all, where did he get a gun? And why wouldn't he just get out of the car? If you care about your life, why wouldn't you just do what the officer says? But you got a gun. I'm interested to know what his rap sheet looks like. And the mother sitting up there acting like, this boy's an angel or something. They shot him down like an animal, like he didn't do anything. I mean, did she miss the fact that he shot at the police officer first? Did she even acknowledge that? Probably not. Okay. These people look drunk, man. I'm telling you. It just really blows my mind, man. But my guess is that the parents and the mother will try to sue the police department, sue the state, and get some money from it, because that's a growing trend whenever this happens. Sadly, and I'm not making fun of that. And certainly I would never make fun of someone losing their life. It's very unfortunate These young boys just don't have strong father figures in the homes. That is the problem. Okay, and until these liberal cities and people in these states start to realize what the real problems are, it's never going to get fixed. It's going to be the same thing over and over. They hate white people, and these white police officers are driving them crazy, but they're the only ones in there trying to help the streets become a safer place to live. But people don't want that. It's almost like they want to police their own streets. If you want to police your own streets, you can actually do that. You can do it. You can get yourself a firearm, but you don't want to do that though. That's way out of the question. There's too many guns on the streets here. Too many of the wrong kind of guns. All right, too many illegal firearms in the hands of 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old boys. I mean, out of Chicago, man, some of these kids are young, shooting people. Okay, that's what the police officers are up against. Teenagers who are already going through changes with their hormones, going through problems in school, going through problems with peer pressure, with loaded pistols walking around like it's nobody's business. Police ask you to get out of the car, you start shooting. That's crazy. Okay, where do they do that at? Only in the liberal cities. So the problem is just never going to stop. I don't see that it's going to stop or end until, like, the strong men of these cities and states, we're calling on you to stand up, and all you see is women out here when they protest. All you see is, when they go to these city council meetings, all you see is a bunch of women angry, yelling and crying, and the kids are dying, but the men are just sitting there like, barely saying anything. It's only like a couple of men that I've seen from Chicago standing up yelling at Brandon Johnson, who's a really trash mayor. Worse than Lori Lightfoot. So what Ron DeSantis is doing is absolutely great. Every governor should be doing stuff like this. All right. Every governor should be doing that. All right, J.D. Pritzker over there in Chicago, he knows better. Okay, he knows better. But I mean, if he tries to change anything, they'll just pull out the black card on him. Okay, all right, the whole city will pull out the black card, and he'll shut up. That's how it goes. I like Ron DeSantis because he's not tolerating the nonsense. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how you're supposed to be as a strong man. Now, I don't like Ron DeSantis going against Trump. I knew he wasn't going to win. It wasn't because I didn't like him, but he's a really good governor. He's a policy man. Okay, I love that. This is, if every strong man was something like that, at least close, or at least, in the neighborhood of, upholding the law, we could have a pretty good United States. All right, just a few governors step up and do it. But until then, these governors that are in charge of these liberal cities start to take advice and start to implement some of the policies that these conservative governors and government officials take a hard stance on, then it's until they do that, it's not going to change. All right, they have to grow a set of whats. All right, huevos. They have to get the courage to stand up against the wokeities, because they're going to cripple your city. They're going to cripple your state. Where is it going? Where is it headed? So they need to take Ron's advice here and do what he's doing. If you want to ask my opinion, if you want my opinion, it's what needs to be done. I would do it. Let me know what you guys think. Tough on crime? Absolutely. I know so. That's how it goes. That's the only way for it to go. And that's biblical. Okay. Like, share, and subscribe, guys, to my channel. Please share my videos. Get it out to the masses. Tell everyone you know. This has been Yup, I Said It. Thank you.